Yeah. Okay, I can do that.
There you go. Give it a try.
This is a rather unfortunate story. By the end of this, two young women, one of them has been killed by the other, and the other is in jail. But first, let's talk about the cheating. I was a grad student in the University of Colorado at Boulder. I had set my students' assignment just before they went on spring break. It was an individual assignment. And as I read through the assignments while my students were on spring break, I could see that they were two very similar to each other. And I sent emails to those two girls. I said, can you meet me? And because I want to have questions about your assignments. One of them said, okay, she had cooperated on the assignment, cooperate. And the other one said, can we do this on phone? And she gave me a phone number. And I traced the area code, and it was in Beverly Hills, California. And the fact that this student was enjoying in a swimming pool, maybe sipping pina coladas or Mai Tais, and I was freezing in a basement in Colorado, that got me really mad. So I said, no, you got to come in here. She complained to the associate dean for undergraduate affairs. And then the associate dean got in touch with me and worked out a bargain that the undergraduate girl from California would confess to write a letter of confession, and I would give her a 0. And I thought everything was good, it was over. Spring finished, fall began, and then one day I was reading the newspaper, and the name of the girl from California was there. She had been killed the previous night by a hit-and-run driver. The impact had completely taken off her leg. The rest of her went in another direction. And she had been crossing the road at around 2 o'clock in the morning. And the main road in Boulder, Colorado, Broadway, is sort of uphill slope. So she would have been invisible if she was crossing the road, especially if she had been wearing that little black cocktail dress. Then I immediately got on the phone to the undergraduate dean and said, take that letter out. I don't want the parents to know that this was a self-confessed cheat. Their daughter was a self-confessed cheat. The parents went, they came to fetch the body. They took the body and they weren't interested in her academic things. And they set up a golf tournament in her honor in California and named the trophy after her. And that was the second part of the story. But what happened to the other girl? The other girl was a driver of that hit-and-run vehicle. She was a stripper, an exotic dancer who worked at the local strip club in Boulder. And she had just come off a shift, and she was very upset because she had an argument. And she was groping under the dashboard for a radio station that she liked, and she didn't see that. And she panicked, I suppose, because she kept going after hitting the girl. But there were plenty of people on the road to take down her license number. And she went for 1 mile before stopping and calling one of her friends, and apparently that friend helped her get her car home. Next day, these two people went the brightest of people, because next day the police came, they found her from the license plate, and there were still traces of blood and tissue on her car. And the third thing is that I've started looking at this story, I started doing an internet search, and I found that the parents had written in the funeral book that the girl from California had been killed by a drunk driver in daylight. I'd gone out for a walk. Nothing about the fact that perhaps it was the girl who was drunk, nothing about the fact that she was jaywalking and she was unseen. And I started wondering, could I have offered myself as a witness? Could I have said that the girl used to come to my class, and when she came, she was drunk? Could I have sort of given the judge some kind of impetus, some kind of thing to doubt the story? Because I don't know what plea bargain she came up with. Maybe it was a drunk driving. Maybe it was something else. Then it hit me. There was nothing I could have said to the judge to make him or her change their mind. the driver hadn't failed to remain. She had done a hit and run. If only she had paused, if only she had stopped, and then the police would have had an opportunity to test her blood for alcohol, maybe they would have given her, maybe they would have convicted her on distracted driving. Instead, she would have got a jail term. Thank you very much.